Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are going to take a spoiler-free look at Kaiju number 8, chapter 94. This was a joyous chapter for me. It was a pieced-together chapter, linking together several different stories that we've been following up to this point, which is no surprise to anybody. We know how the last chapter ended. This was obviously going to be a concluding beginning chapter, a joint chapter, as it were. So, what was so great about a joint chapter that has me feeling so good? It was that last panel. Two things just jumped out at me in that last panel. One, Matsumoto has truly mastered anatomy and is capable of doing these understated dynamic poses where even under that battle suit you can see the human muscles. And I think that's one thing that makes the Kaiju number 8 design so great. That is essentially a human body with a skull mask on and the skin off. But instead of something grotesque like red, it's just jet black. And it's just beautiful. The Kaiju number 8 design is scary but beautiful. And the way Matsumoto draws bodies, Matsumoto seems to have two levels of artwork when drawing human bodies. I'm going to call the one the general officer body, which is just a very good standard shonen body, high-end shonen. And then when Matsumoto draws with inspiration, when he's drawing a character he likes in a pose that he enjoys, you get those images from the first several chapters where we saw Hoshina training. And it really does look like the man's body is moving on the paper. And it's just, Matsumoto is showing his genius, and Matsumoto's genius only peeks through. It doesn't show on every page. And as this series is going on, you can see that Matsumoto is getting more and more skilled, so his genius can show more and more. But this is just a glorious image. And it brings back another thing, that Matsumoto really investigates science well. And not just human anatomy, but animal anatomy. Because Matsumoto is getting subtle details of animal anatomy that are just fantastic. Spine bones, muscles, primordial pouches, skull shape, ear placement. So much detail. But all right. So, without getting into any spoilers, we get the wrap-up for Vice Captain Hoshina's fight. We get flashbacks into the relationship dynamics. And one thing about the relationship dynamics is that they feel very realistic. And especially between the captains and their vice captains. The first vice captain pair we see are, of course, Mina and Hoshina. And they have this really blustery dynamic where Mina's teasing him, and he really seems like he's there to serve Mina, to take care of Mina. He's not angling for her job, he's there to take care of her. And this seems to be what an ideal vice captain is. When we see Jin and his vice captain, you get this very gruff, old uncle-like caretaker who's constantly having to compensate for Jin's general life incompetence while matching him beat for beat in battle. So you have a very powerful, very disciplined officer, but there is that teasing. These people see each other, the captains and vice captains see each other as very flawed human beings. And in every relationship we've seen, the captain-vice captain dynamic has been one of standards, forgiveness, and love. Mina and Hoshina hold each other to extremely high standards, but they also accept that their partner is a flawed human being and that they will have to compensate for those flaws, and they compensate with grace and compassion, and in Mina and Hoshina's case, a little teasing. Jin and Narumi and his vice captain, they're a little more antagonistic. They're not of the same age and vibing on the same energy level the way Mina and Hoshina are, but there's still that ultimate respect in battle, and a forgiveness of flaws. When the vice captain picks him up by the scruff, Jin up by the scruff of his collar and presents him to Kokoru, there is love behind that action. And we get a peek at and it was the same with the general director and the vice director, Baldy. They had that same 100% willing to call each other out on their BS, but 100% I've got your back, we're best friends behind it. And we get another peek at another captain-vice captain dynamic. And there's that same honesty, forgiveness, love, and respect. And every single science fiction series takes something and makes it just a little bit better than it is in the world, or a little bit worse. But science fiction is about accentuating things that already exist. One of the best pieces of writing advice I read, and one that I try to bring to my writing, came from a book called, I think it was Emily of New Moon. Anyway, it was by the author of Anne of Green Gables, Lucy Maud Montgomery, the Canadian author. And in her book, she has a dying man, as his last benediction, give this writing advice to the titular character. He says, "Don't worry about being realistic. A pine wood is just as realistic as a pigsty, and a whole lot more pleasant." The point being, you don't have to write unnecessarily gritty, nasty stories. And that's nothing new. They were doing it way back in the 1800s. And this author wanted people to know that it's okay to write something beautiful. And when you look specifically at the relationship dynamics between the highest ranking members of the Defense Force, it is something beautiful, something wholesome, something good. And maybe it is a little bit unrealistic, but this is science fiction. This is escapism. I want to go to this world. I want to see kaiju punching each other, and I want to see bears the back without a brother behind it, best friend relationships between all of the heroes. Maybe it's a little unrealistic, but hey, that's what I want from my escapism, and that is what Matsumoto delivers in spades. And the heart of this chapter is that. Okay, so I got a little off track there. And then at the end, as we outlined in the last chapter, it's the final battle between Mina and the Kaiju, who has certain abilities that make him her perfect foil. And she, being the perfect shonen hero, rides into battle on her mighty steed, and yes, I'm sorry, that's a spoiler. Mild spoilers, sorry, I'll avoid that. Anyway, final bit of chapter, dedicated to another battle, and the one we're gearing up to see. And I have so many thoughts on that, but I can't touch those thoughts without going into spoilers, so I will leave this review here. This chapter was so much fun, and I was so profoundly disappointed when it ended, but this is another chapter where the art alone, I'm just sitting here staring at that final page, or it's page and a half spread, the anatomy, the dynamics, the physics. All right, you've listened to me rant enough. Go, you guys know the drill. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really, really helps me with the algorithm. And check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of my book, Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, or Dying Embers, Dragons, Aliens, and Things That Go Boomp in the Night. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Do you love awesome science fiction books? Of course you do. If you check out the links below the video, you can get yourself a copy of Comedy or Tragedy. Humans Are Weird. I have the data. Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out are the 3 comedy short story books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play. There's even some copies at Powell's Books, the famous used bookstore in Portland, Oregon. Dying Embers, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night, and soon Flying Sparks. More dramatic, traditional science fiction novels are also available at Amazon. Flying Sparks is still in the pre-order page. If you want a copy, you can email me by contacting the website to pre-order yourself a copy. It's still being edited. So check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of some wonderful science fiction.